Hey, listen up. All of my workforce friends out there, whether you're ranchers, farmers, or you just need a pair of good leather gloves, look no further than Bare Knuckles. The best leather gloves ever made, featuring a patent design crafted for natural curve of the fingers. These gloves deliver a perfect fit, superior protection, and all-day comfort. Made from premium leather, right now get an exclusive 15% off, and you can find that at buybareknuckles.com. But make sure you use our code INFOGO at checkout. You can find that link in the show notes. Upgrade your hands, and remember, every purchase, well, it supports the show. So thank you.
If you love unforgettable treats, you've got to try Molly B's Gourmet Cookies. These aren't your average cookies. Molly B's brings bold, artisan crafted cookies straight to your pantry. We're talking chocolate, cherry, and amaretto and be cordial. Earl Grey, lavender, white chocolate, and lemon glaze in the tea. Even maple, bacon, whiskey, and white chocolate in the Boss Man. Founded by a single mom from Alaska, Molly Bees has become a national sensation. You get 10% off any product using our code INFOGO at mollybees.com. Find the link in the show notes.
All right, Kat, it's been a hot minute since you and I have recorded, right?
Yes, some
Uh,
things have transpired and we
yeah,
had to
we
take a break, but we are trying to get back on this horse here.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you fall off the horse, you got to get back on it. Great
Absolutely.
analogy. You know, me coming from a farm, that is
The
that is
wagon never stops moving, all that good stuff.
yeah. Anyway, so welcome to the podcast. I'm William,
And I'm Kat.
and this is going to be a dash of info.
Little things you want to know.
Before we introduce the title here, have you ever heard of a little game called Cornhole?
Yes, I have. I have a friend of mine that is was in a cornhole league.
What?
Yep.
The first time I ever heard the name Cornhole, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought it was I'll edit this out, but I thought it was going to be something way totally different than throwing a beanbag in a hole.
Same, same. I didn't know what we were doing with corn cobs or what, but hey, that I didn't think it was going to be beanbags into a hole either. But anyway, I'm sure you've probably played it at a barbecue, a tailgate, or a family reunion, but have you ever stopped mid beanbag toss and wondered where did the game cornhole come from?
Yeah, actually, I have. But to kind of set things up here to lead off where you were at, picture a warm summer afternoon, a cold drink, sweating in your hand. You know, the music's drifting out of a speaker somewhere in the background. Maybe it's classic rock, maybe it's country, maybe it's heavy metal. Who knows? Somebody's laughing, someone's arguing over the score, and you see two wooden boards set up in the grass, a handful of bean bags, you know, kind of sliding, and if you're lucky, one is kind of dropping clean through the hole. How did I
Yeah,
do?
pretty good, pretty good. It's a game that feels like it's always been there, like it just appeared. There's no rule book in sight, no inventor's name attached, and it's just boards, bags, and bragging rights.
But here's the twist. This simple backyard game has roots wrapped in folklore, regional pride, and a surprising journey that takes its form down dusty lawns to bright television lights and professional competition. Kind of like pickleball.
Yeah, so let's toss back through time and see where cornhole really came from.
Okay, I'll start it off here with the German tale, and then you can pick up after that. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. So, fact, folklore, and famous story. One of the most popular origin stories traces cornhole all the way back to the 14th century in Germany. And according to this legend, villagers cut holes into the ground and tossed small sacks toward them. The story goes that the game was created to give children a safe alternative to throwing rocks, turning a dangerous habit into a harmless competition. It's a charming idea, but it also sounds exactly like the kind of story games, well, that they collect over centuries. And here's the reality check. Historians have never found written records, illustrations, or official references to a medieval German game that could clearly match modern cornhole. No rule books, no surviving boards, no contemporary descriptions. That doesn't mean it didn't exist. It just means this origin story lives more in oral tradition than documented history. In other words, it's possible, but maybe unproven.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know, then the modern birth of cornhole here. Between the 1970s and the 1990s in Cincinnati, Ohio, those that was ground zero. It's while cornhole's ancient origins are murky, its modern identity becomes much clearer and it points squarely to the American Midwest, especially Cincinnati, Ohio. By the 70s, versions of the game were popping up across Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, but Cincinnati stands out because it's where cornhole didn't just survive, it standardized. Local players began settling on wooden boards instead of holes in the ground, a raised platform, a single circular hole, and corn filled cloth bags thrown from a fixed distance. It was still informal, but it was starting to look familiar. Some researchers credit Midwestern manufacturers and backyard tinkerers who built boards in garages, basements, and wood shops, and others point to local parks and tailgate scenes where the same setup kept reappearing. No patents, no rule books, just repetition and agreement.
Did you say garages and backyards?
Sure did.
Hmm.
It's where the best things start, right?
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking in my head. Like, man, these are where the best things actually start. Um, Tailgates, backyards, and community life. Cornhole thrived because it fit perfectly into American social spaces. You didn't need a field, you didn't need a net, you didn't need a referee, and you really didn't need any kind of athletic shoes. All you really needed was a patch of grass or maybe asphalt, concrete really didn't matter, a few friends. And this is what became the staple, football tailgates, especially college games, church picnics and fall festivals, family cookouts, reunions, neighborhood block parties, all because it's turn based. Cornhole engages conversation, trash talk, storytelling, spectators. People could just come and go without disrupting the game, which made it really ideal for gatherings. So, yeah, whether you're in the backwoods with a bonfire or you're in the neighborhood with no fire, everybody could play it. Sorry, Kat, I had to bring out the country in me there for a minute.
That's okay. It's expected. You know,
Especially at this point, right?
especially. It- it- But there are different names in the same game. Depending on where you were, you might not have called it cornhole at all. Across the Midwest and beyond, the same game went by names like corn toss, beanbag toss, bags, and soft horseshoes. Cornhole was often seen as a safer, more accessible cousin to horseshoes. It's less intimidating, fewer bruises, and no metal flying through the air.
I'm sorry. Have you ever been hit with a horseshoe
Yes,
that like missed its mark or something?
but I had a younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cornhole is much safer than horseshoes.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
You know, the variety of names actually helps historians date the game's spread. When everyone uses a different term, it's a sign the game traveled by word of mouth, not by marketing.
Why did cornhole spread so easily? Well, it didn't need promotion. It spread because, well, it really worked. It was easy to learn. Most people understood it in under a minute. Uh, and it really was inclusive. Kids, parents, grandparents, all of these could compete in cornhole. And it was a low impact, there was no running, no jumping or physical strain, and it was flexible. serious competition or casual play. Well, it was the same setup. And maybe most importantly, it didn't feel like a sport at all. It felt like a shared activity. And that made it welcoming to people who might avoid organized athletics altogether. I can honestly see cornhole bringing people together because you can literally learn it within like a half a game, maybe.
Right. The goal is just to get it in the hole.
Basically.
The moment before it went official. So by the late 1990s, something interesting was happening. The boards looked more alike, the distances were more consistent, and the scoring rules were starting to align. Players were asking questions like, what's the real distance supposed to be? Does it have to be corn? What counts as regulation? Well, the game hadn't changed, but the mindset had. That really set the stage for Cornhole's next chapter.
But at some point, someone asked, what if we made this official? And with that question, Cornhole stepped out of the backyard and onto a much bigger stage. And I say before we really get into Cornhole goes competitive, so we take a small break. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Meet Savoristo. They have premium craft decaf and half calf coffee with bold, rich flavor. Made from high altitude, hand picked Arabica beans and naturally decaffeinated with water or sugarcane processes, and there's no harsh chemicals.
But if you think chocolate, caramel, citrus, even bourbon pecan and mint and mocha, it's small batch roasted, literally so good, customers call it the best decaf they've ever tried.
Better sleep, less anxiety, all the flavor. Use our code INFOGO to get 25% off at checkout at savorista.com. You can also find that link in the show notes. Hey, William, do you love craft beer?
Yes, I do. We
If you're
can,
looking for the perfect gift for a beer lover or just want to show off your brewery pride, the Harpoon Shop has something you won't find anywhere else.
and here's something special just for our listeners. You can save 25% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. You can find that link in the show notes. Okay, so now that we're back, Cornhole goes competitive. Every casual game reaches a crossroad, right? And for Cornhole, that moment came when the players started asking a simple question: what actually counts? As competition increased in the late 90s and early 2000s, informal arguments, well, they kind of hardened into standardized rules. And by census regulation, cornhole boards became 2 feet wide, 4 feet long, with a 6-inch hole, positioned 27 feet apart, measured front edge to front edge. That distance wasn't arbitrary, it balanced skill, accuracy, competitive tension, accessibility for a wide range of players. And suddenly, cornhole wasn't just something you played however you wanted. It was something you could play the same way everywhere. And that consistency opened the door to competition.
Yeah, and then of course, you have organizations that step in. With standard rules came formal organizations. Not long after the American Cornhole League formed and eventually became the dominant governing body, the ACL introduced tiered competitions, player rankings, regional and national tournaments, and broadcast friendly formats. What had once been a weekend diversion now had structure, schedules, titles, and legitimacy. Cornhole had officially entered the world of organized sport.
So then came the moment that changed everything. Cornhole appeared on ESPN. At first, it surprised people. Some people laughed. Some people kind of clicked on past the channel. Are you a channel surfer by
No,
chance? You're not?
no.
Uh, I
I'm
am.
I'm I'm a streamer. I don't have any kind of cable.
Well, I know you're a
Just
streamer,
streaming
but
services.
do you like see something and you're like, I don't want to watch that, and you keep going, and then you get
Yeah,
back to it and
yeah.
you're like, oh, well, this kind of does look interesting, right?
Well, yeah, yeah, I do that.
All right, maybe that was cornhole. Who knows?
Maybe.
But many people stopped and watched because once the cameras rolled, something became clear. The matches were intense. The accuracy was astonishing. The strategy, well, it was real. And professional broadcasters brought play-by-play commentators, slow motion replays, player profiles, rankings, and stats. But at any rate, viewers saw that cornhole wasn't about luck. It was about precision, consistency, and, well, nerve. If you had the nerve to aim for that bag and push it on through.
What with television exposure came money, and with money came professionals. So today's competitive cornhole includes cash prizes and sponsorships, full-time and semi-professional players, custom-designed resin-filled bags engineered for grip and slide, climate-controlled indoor arenas to eliminate wind and weather. Top players practice relentlessly, refining throwing form, bag spin, shot selection, mental focus. And there are specialty shots now, like the airmail, where the bag never touches the board at all. And this isn't a party trick anymore, it's a skill set.
Wow. If you can really do the airmail shot, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Send us
I,
some videos because those are amazing.
yes, agreed.
We have a mini cornhole here at the house that my grandkids break out during Christmas, and
Hmm.
you don't set it 27 feet apart. We just set it from I don't know two floor tiles apart,
Hmm.
and it's like these little bitty teeny tiny bean bags. It's pretty neat.
That sounds cute.
Yeah, and I bought it as a joke, and they love it.
Oh, I bet. It's
But
usually how it goes.
yeah, and you don't have to go outside. The best thing about it is you can play it in the house. You can play it on a coffee table. You can play it on the floor. It really doesn't matter.
Right.
Uh, Cornhole didn't lose its soul, but it gained a second identity. Was once casual, flexible, social. Well, it became competitive, structured, televised. The same game could exist in two worlds. You could play it at a family reunion, maybe a casual Saturday afternoon, maybe at some local bar, or you could have a nationally ranked tournament under bright lights. But what was really unique about this game is it worked in both places. I guess instead of both places, it worked in all places. And yes, that is crazy.
Cornhole didn't become a sport by abandoning its roots. It became a sport because those roots were so strong. Now, once a simple game is now a professional competition and somehow still both at the same time.
I think that kind of draws a correlation to pickleball, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to do how to play cornhole?
Sure.
All right, you do that, and I'll take on scoring.
At its core, cornhole is refreshingly simple. There's two boards that face each other, angled slightly upward, each with a single hole near the top. Players stand at one end and throw toward the opposite board. Now you can play singles, which is two players, one at each board, or doubles, which is four players, two per team. Each player throws four bags per round, alternating turns until all bags are tossed. There's no timers, no referees required. Just take turns and throw.
Until you got that one person that stands there and looks at the board, kind of flipping that beanbag, and you're like, go, go. There should be a
Just throw the
timer.
bag.
Cornhole uses a system called cancellation scoring, which sounds complicated, but actuality, it keeps games fair and fast. And here's how that breaks down. A bag on the board scores 1 point. A bag in the hole, well, that scores 3 points. At the end of each round, the points cancel out. So, example, Team A scores 7, Team B scores 5. Team A earns 2 points for the round. So, you take the 5 minus the 7, that's how you get the 2.
Only one team scores per round, which means big comebacks are possible. No one runs away with the game too quickly, and every throw matters.
Officially, the goal is to reach 21 points exactly. In organized play, going over 21 may cause you to bounce back or lose points depending on the rule set. In backyards, house rules apply, and they vary widely. Some games allow you to go over, some require a perfect finish, and others, like ours, we really don't care. And that flexibility is all part of cornhole's charm.
Yeah. At first glance, cornhole looks like a simple underhand throw, but in reality, competitive players use distinct techniques. The common styles include a flat spin, which is a controlled rotation that keeps the bag stable, a slider, which is a shot that's designed to glide across the board, or
Fair.
air mail, a direct throw that drops straight into the hole without touching the board at all. Now, each style has its place depending on board conditions, opponent strategy, the score, and it's just with beanbags essentially.
Yeah. So, you're always going to have house rules versus the official rules. And one reason cornhole spread so quickly is that it never demanded perfection. Backyard games often ignore strict distances, modify scoring, allow, and sometimes they allow stepping past the line. They add creative penalties or rewards. And official leagues require consistency, while backyards, they just really require fun. And cornhole found a way to thrive in both worlds.
Cornhole's rules are simple enough to learn in minutes, but deep enough to master over years. That balance is rare, and it's a big reason the game moved so easily from lawns to leagues.
You know what? We need to wrap this up because this is a dash and we're kind of dragging it out.
All right.
So, cornhole as American culture and why cornhole endures. Cornhole has lasted and thrived for a simple reason. Almost anyone can play it. There's no steep learning curve, no special gear, no ideal body type or age bracket. In fact, you don't even have to be fast. You don't have to be strong. You just have to step up, take a breath, and toss the bean bag or corn bag, I guess. I don't know, really, or rosin bag. That low barrier to enter makes cornhole welcoming in a few ways games really are. It can be lighthearted or competitive. You can have background noise, or it can be the main event. Quick diversion or an all afternoon tournament. Well, the same board works for everyone.
Cornhole didn't grow inside gyms or stadiums. It grew inside shared spaces. And you'll find it at weddings where guests of all ages drift towards the boards, fundraisers where friendly competition raises real money, tailgates where it fills the time between kickoff to kickoff, and family reunions where bragging rights last longer than the food.
Absolutely, bragging rights all the way.
And because the game is turn based, people don't disappear into it. They talk, they laugh, they watch each other play. And cornhole doesn't replace conversation, it creates it.
Yeah, I have two small grandkids, and I love playing cornhole with them. It's amazing because they beat me half the time.
I'll have to get
Uh,
some for my kiddos.
it's easy enough said. It's multi-generational. It's just that simple. Kat, that's pretty much all I've got.
Me too. If you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
If you would like to help us keep the show going, you can do so at Patreon. That link is in the show notes.
William and I want to thank you for listening.
Whether you've been with us from day one or just tuned in, we want to thank you.
Join the Facebook group at Info on the Go
Over there, you can share with us your show ideas.
or ask us a question.
But whatever you do, make sure you hit that follow button wherever you get your podcast.
Send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
And honestly and truly, leaving that review really does help others find us. But if you would like to, you can also email us at,
Info on the Go podcast at gmail.com.
and yes, you can find that email link in the show notes. Till next time.
Stay curious.
Every morning starts with a choice. Don't settle for just coffee. Rise up with strong coffee. Meet the world's strongest cup of joe. Strong isn't just a drink, it's a movement. And strong stands for striving to reach our natural greatness.
Born from one simple need to be better. They rebuilt coffee from the ground up, infusing organic coffee with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional ingredients that fuel your body and sharpen your mind. There's no crash, no compromises, just clean energy, focus, and flavor that fires you up.
Whether you're chasing kids, chasing goals, or chasing greatness, don't just wake up, rise up. Strong coffee, the world's strongest cup of joe, for a world ready to be better.
Use code INFOGO at checkout to save 15%.